Morning! Welcome to the last feeder fishing session of the year. I've just put in 3 casts. I've had 1 skimmer, and I did have a roach, but a pike smashed it because there's obviously a pike sitting at my feet. So let's see how we get on today. Roll the old intro. We're catching some hybrids. Look at him, he's even performing with his fin. At least it's not a blank. Only drawback about this place, I am literally smack in the middle of Enniskillen town centre. I am on the peg which is known as the Sligo Road pegs. Anyone that fishes the matches here will know this peg. Problem is, the Fermanagh Council in its infinite wisdom gave permission to aqua bikers, those folks. And this being a Sunday, I thought those folks would have not been here on a Sunday, but basically those people made this peg unfishable. It's hard enough when it's bad weather or when it's heavy boat traffic, but to have people on the pedal boats, well, it just makes fishing that much more difficult. Oh, getting about. No, must have missed that one. Just keep putting the feed in. I had to shorten the hook length because the pike smashed me up again. That's number 2. So it's the same pike, and what's worse, he didn't even eat the roach. Didn't even eat it. I seen it floating about out there. It's probably over there with those jetties now. Not a big fish, about 4 pound. Next weekend my pike fishing season starts. This is the last session I'll be throwing feeders. I bought a whip as well, Daiwa Connoisseur whip. It's an 8-metre whip. The Daiwa stuff's fairly good. So I might get some whip. Whip fishing is literally the simplest form of fishing. It is a pole with a length of line attached to the end of it. Now that whip, it does come with an elasticated, you can elasticate a top 3. But I've just got the flick tip in it, which means it's going to be fishing 2-hand. So if it's an 8-metre whip, I'll literally have 8 metres of line at the end of it, and I'll be swinging in fish 2-hand, hence the name 2-hand. So I'll give that a go later on. I'm just trying to get some fish on the tip. The river is moving, which is good. There's a little bit of colour, which is good. There we go, bites. Come on. Hit it again. Yep. Fishing with a 40-gram crested feeder. One of these. $40 is holding the bottom, and a 5-pound hook length. To a size 14 hook. I hit those weeds behind me, so it's a 50-50 to see if I've any bait on it. Situation update. Bit off twice. Had a few bites, up to 7 fish in the net. One of them being a teeny perch, but this big. Just keep plugging the feeder in. I have some friends to show you. Yep. I have some swans. They've pissed off back that way, thankfully. The swans of the River Erne can be mean. I'll throw these guys some maggots. Hello, little hoisin. Hello, spring roll. Hello, little orange duck. They don't know what I'm saying. To them, I'm just a nice human being that's feeding them some maggots. I'm not at all imagining them barbecued or glazed with orange sauce or in a spring roll. Gotta love spring rolls. Just what we need. Those ones are going past at a sensible, respectable speed. I gotta admit, my heart kind of sinks when I see jet skis. They can go one of two ways. They can either be like those guys that just kind of moseyed on past, kept it low, everything was cool. Or they can switch into turbo dickhead mode and do fucking donuts in front of you all day. I have had both kinds. The ones that will sit in front of you and whip the place into a foam, and then they get all offended when you tell them to piss off. Or you hear the old line, "We have every right to enjoy the river just as much as you do." Sorry, but I pay to fish this place. I pay license fees. You don't have to pay anything to jump on a jet ski and rip the river to bits. Feeder line's gone a bit quiet. I might switch to the whip line and see if I can get some action in front of me. There's some fish rising just about here. So let's get the whip on the go. Just catching a few little roach and perch on the whip. Oh, that one fell off. Whip fishing. It is so easy. When I take people out that's never been fishing before, I'll literally set them up with a whip because you can't go wrong. You know, unless there's power lines above your head, then you'll fucking definitely go wrong. But a little 8 metre whip, fishing two hand. I mean, I'm not fishing with a heavy float, it's just a 1.5 gram float. Because my eyesight's a bit shit, I tend to buy floats with big thick tips, so well, not so much eyesight shit, I've got contact lenses and I can see it. But when you're used to, when you look at like a little fine wire float tip, it's just so much easier buying a thicker one with a thicker tip. You know, there's nothing complicated about this. It's 8 metres of monofilament, I think it's 5 pound monofilament. A 1.5 gram float. A 12 inch 4 pound hook length to a size 14 hook. The current's taking it down just nice. So you always kind of flick it up into the current so that the Olivet can take the bait down to the bottom. So that by the time the float's in front of you, your bait should be where you're throwing your ground bait in. Because your ground bait will sink faster than your little 1 gram Olivet will. Then you can do things like hold back as well, where you can hold the pole or the whip against. So if the flow's going this way and you hold your pole that way, your float will come to the end of the line and it'll start to do that there, which means the bait will start to lift up a little bit, and very oftentimes that'll get you a bite. because the bait's kind of wafting up. Beard drama. My feeder line went a bit quiet, so I switched to the whip. And I've been I caught a couple of nice roach, a couple of roach, and a couple of perch. We're at 13 fish so far. Like that. Come here, you. Alright. This rig is actually a little bit shorter. This rig's only about 7 meters long. It isn't a problem. It isn't an issue. It just means it's a little bit of a pain in the tits at the arse end, but when you're swinging in a fish, because of that short, you can catch it. It's not having to be down at not way down at your feet. Anyone that fishes with a whip will know what I'm talking about. I'm looking forward to the pike fishing. At the minute, for me personally, still too warm. I mean, driving down here this morning at 7:30, it was 12 degrees. You know, ideally, I would want a good week of temperatures about 3 to 5 degrees at night time for a good solid week. You know, that sort of temperatures during the night tends to push. It will push the fish to their winter locations. Hands-free whip fishing. Again, this is dead easy. You just kind of push it under your arse, so you're kind of sitting on it. That way, if you want to do things like, you know, like spray some maggots, you can. Or get a big sticky ball of ground bait ready, because somebody's coming past with music blaring, disturbing your Sunday morning peace. Again, because the river's moving, don't spray maggots on top of your float. We're fishing at 10 feet, so the maggots will take a bit of time to get down to the bottom. But the key is just keep trickling the bait in. Don't go mad, don't bomb in 10 tons of ground bait. Just keep the bait trickling in. Obviously, if you're feeding things like hemp and corn that sink a lot faster, then you can spray them closer to your area that you have baited. You basically want an area in front of you when you're whip fishing where your ground bait will have settled and your freebies will be kind of there. Yes, you can put your freebies in with your ground bait. That also works. Just want a nice area in front of you that'll hold fish, so that when your float, that's because I'm whip fishing on the river, so when your float comes drifting down, it drifts over that nice baited area. You can even fish shallow if you wanted, where if the fish were off the bottom you could adjust your float so that the fish your bait is at a certain depth, or you can fish over depth. Guess what that is? It's all a bit of fun. How's your Sunday going? Okay, this one feels a bit better. There you go, a nice hybrid. People on pedal boats, guy trolling lines. Sure, what could possibly go wrong with that? That's what happens when you don't tie your wee shitey pedal boat things to the jetty. They drift away. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. We're up to 34 fish now. We're flying. I went back on the feeder for half an hour, 45 minutes. Well, actually it was 45 minutes. And I had one bite. So I'm back on the whip. Catching small fish. Lots of boat traffic for a Sunday, which was surprising. Yes, I know, I buy too many hats. You wouldn't believe the abuse I've got because I buy too many hats. Watching the news, and it just annoyed me. It just really annoyed me. Some eco fucking waste of skin. She is protesting private jets. So she was protesting the private jets, and how she protested the private jets was she poured human shit on the memorial to Sir Tom. Remember the old fella that raised money for the NHS when they had the Wu flu lockdowns, walking in his garden, got knighted by the Queen when she was alive. Yeah, she poured human shit over the memorial for him. So I hope somewhere out there there's an angry female veteran who gets to meet this lady and well, show her the error of her ways. I keep reading about these people that are out slashing four-wheel drives, like tires of cars and stuff, saying that you're hurting the environment, so we've slashed your tires. That's another group of humans that eventually they will get caught, and then it will be a story in the newspaper about how some upper middle class soft lad was caught slashing someone's tires and then was tuned in. Bet you it's a fucking, our legal system is a joke. You all remember the specky guy, the specky wee weedy guy who who stuck himself to the goalpost at an Everton football match? He got like 4 or 6 weeks inside. Nothing. Waste of his time. I don't understand why the police are so lenient with him. I really don't. I can remember going to watch a football match in Manchester, and the police in Manchester, well, they were as up for a scrap as the football fans were. And they didn't. They definitely policed the football fans a little bit harsher than they policed the environmental people. Trying not to swear, really am trying. Good news, I guess. I got offered a permanent contract where I work, so that's good. Means I'm on a permanent contract now. I did start off on that job as like temporary cover for a woman who was pregnant. She's decided she's not coming back, so they offered me the job. It's decent money, decent job, not far from home. So that's a bonus. Enjoying that. That's all you throw in. Maybe one every half hour. Keep it good in. Keep the bait good in. Don't think I'll fish for long, but I'm just out enjoying the Sunday afternoon or Sunday daytime. I really am wanting to get back at the pike fishing. The next video you'll see after this one will be pike fishing. Obviously this isn't the same day. I'm going to show you what I caught that day in a picture now. First day of the October, where I actually feel like it's cold. On the van down here, the van said it was 5 degrees. So this will be my last coarse fishing session. It's windy, it's raining. But at least I'm not blanking. and I look cool doing it. Yeah, I think I might unload the van tomorrow. Put the pike fishing stuff in it tomorrow. I feel like it's pike fishing season. Today I'm not really fishing with the pole or the float, although I have baited the float and pole line. Because the river's moving a fair bit, I'm just going to fish with the tip. I have had two clinking hybrids of about maybe a pound each, and I've had a roach. It's just not been a bad start. We're going to finish the rest of my chocolate bar, and I'll see you in a minute. Catching bream. Come on, you wriggly little bugger. Not big bream, but bream. Good fun. I caught a swim feeder and about 60 feet of line. Put up a hell of a scrap. I did try with a whip, but the wind's just hacking up too much, so I don't think I'm going to get whip fishing done today. So I'll stick with a tip. I'm letting it sit, I'm not casting it so often, I'm just casting it out, letting it sit for 5 minutes, maybe 6-7 minutes, and then more feed, back out. I'm not putting any particles or mixtures in with them, I'm just literally putting in ground bait. You know, so the fish aren't getting fed, they're just getting brung to the area and all they're seeing is the maggots as the bait. In other news, did any of you happen to catch the executive from Pfizer talking about the old the Wu flu jab and how it never ever stopped transmission, despite the whole take the jab, it'll stop transmission, therefore Granny will survive? That was bullshit. I quite like being free, you know, I quite like freedom. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being told, live your life this way. You know, this is why I'm probably not religious, because I don't do what I'm told. I'm happy to go my own way, live my life my way. That's just me. It did annoy the shit out of me sometime when the drive to vaccinate everybody with the COVID thing. It did kind of irritate me that they were saying, you know, vaccine passports, which I thought were like a total attack on our civil liberties. They were turning around to people that worked in the NHS and saying, no jab, no job. Oh, that was the bite. be getting about here. But the whole no jab, no job, or no jab, no foreign holiday. Yeah, that kind of irritated me. And I'm not anti-vaccination. I mean, my child is vaccinated. I've been vaccinated against mumps and rubella and the MMR jab and all that sort of shit. There was something in my head when this big rush to vaccinate everybody with the COVID, with the Wu flu thing. There was something in my head that just said, fucking hold on a minute, son. So not that I feel kind of vindicated for not taking the Jags, but I definitely feel that there are some sections of our society in charge who need to owe us apologies. But we'll never get that. We'll never get them. You all know my opinion on politicians. America's done it again, folks. In America there's I suppose he would be called a journalist. But he's like more of a comedian, I think, more than a journalist. A guy called Alex Jones is a bit of a madman. And I kind of think he's funny, you know, you don't take him seriously, you take him as like a crazy person. But they fined him $1 billion. So that's kind of strange, you know. In America I thought they had like freedom of speech. Again, I like freedom of speech. You know, it's like when people say dumb shit, you know, or like racist shit and bigoted shit. I want them to speak. I want them to be vocal. I want people to hear them, so people around them know that guy talks shit. It's like when the Women's Republic of Ireland team started singing songs glorifying IRA terrorists. You know, I don't want them banned from football. They're sacked. Don't want apologies from them. You know, anyone that suffered under the hands of like the IRA terrorists were. You know, they don't want apologies. It doesn't mean shit to them now. It just kind of lets you know that they again, something simple. If you glorify, support, you know, fundraise for or justify terrorists, be they the IRA, be they, you know, ISIS or whatever jihadi group, you know, is out at the minute. Whatever terrorist group in the world, if a group stands up and says someone has to die for my cause to get pushed ahead, well then they're a terrorist. If you're out there justifying and fundraising and cheering them on, well then you're just as big a piece of shit as the people in the balaclavas, you know, planting the bombs and murdering people. That's just how I feel. That bite doesn't look like it's turned into anything. I'm also going to have to re-spool this reel. I've bought the braid to do it. Definitely a bite. You can see that the maggots are smashed. So definitely a bite. Let's get some new bait on. wind isn't so much fun. It's kind of nippy on the old fingers. And yeah, you know, a big lump of grass stuck to the last eye of the road. Magic. Move you a bit closer because that wind's pushing a bit much. I've been kind of pushing off the pike fishing. The temperature is one thing, you know, like I said, this is the first day where I'm feeling the temperature's low enough. So I could give the pike fishing a go next weekend. Yeah, it might just be time to pack up and go home. It's getting a bit weather crap. So here we are again, that time of year where the pike fishing gear has left the man cave and it has emigrated to the van, and my coarse fishing gear has been nicely all stacked up on the trailer, and that's where it's going to live for the winter. You got to have some sort of, so it might look like organized chaos in here, but there is some sort of, everything has a place, everything has where it's meant to be, you know. So if I have to go and get something, I know where it is, unless the wife has moved it, which is a possibility. I'm going to have to probably replace my bait boat batteries because doesn't look like they're live. It looks like they're not taking charge, so that's a bit shit. There was a guy that reached out to me last year and said, £500 or £600 would recondition my boat, make it a lot faster, new handset, blah blah blah. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. I don't have £600 to spend on a bait boat, so that's not really an option at the minute. What can you do? You just have to make the best of what you have. Anyway, the pike gear is in the van. This is the time where I tend to take stock of the coarse gear that I've broken throughout the year and things I need replaced. I think I would love a new seat box. My seat box is, well, there's not actually anything wrong with it, but I would just like a new one. Just the same way as we'd all like, a Lamborghini or something like that there. I would love a lighter, newer seat box, but that one will limp on for the rest of my angling days. I would also love a lighter platform than the platform that I have when I'm fishing here. The old Preston Innovations 6-leg platform is a bit like scaffolding poles. You're not going to break it, but it's a bit of a tramp to move from van to fishery. It's a heavy, big bastard of a thing, so there's times where I've actually got people that I fish with to actually move it for me because my back just can't do it. So it's like, the joys of being disabled. Yay! Apart from that, I am genuinely looking forward to getting back into the pike fishing this year. So, the plan at the minute is to do at least 2 overnight sessions a month. At least 1, possibly 2. Be that if I have to take like a couple of days during the week off work. The wife obviously works, so I'm going to have to kind of time it so that it's in between where she's working and where I'm working. And if I can get time off my work and just go away and do fishing, then it would be beneficial, I guess. Just that's the plan. I haven't went out pike fishing yet this year. It's now the 20th of October, so it's well into October, and we have had one morning where I've had to clear the frost off the windows, and then the next day it was 14 degrees. So I'm I'm kind of not sure what's going on here. I would love it to have like a good fortnight of hard frost. That kills the weeds. That means that in the river, especially when I fish the river, if you kill the weed rots and floats away, and then it'll get blown or carried down the river by the current. So the river is clear for the rest of the winter, The problem with having a mild winter is the weed isn't dying off. The weed's kind of staying as about hanging around longer than it should. So when it does die off, when there's a flood, you can't fish the river because there's that much shit coming down the river. And that kind of hampers where you go, because I quite like fishing the rivers. I quite like moving water. I quite like the rivers, basically because, colder weather, really cold weather, rivers always seem to fish better than still waters because it's moving water. It's not as cold. There's lots of fodder fish, lots of structure. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do in the winter on the river, but I need it to kind of go. I need the river gods to give me 2 weeks of hard, cold weather that will make temperatures fall down to single digits, prefer closer to zero the better, for at least a fortnight. I don't mind if it rains, because a few heavy floods at the minute would help kind of get rid of the weed at the river. But we need the weed to go away. Some of the places I fish, you'll find if there's like a stream coming in off a field, where it hits the river, there'll be a load of silt because it'll be washed out of their fields. So that's fertile ground. Weeds will grow on it. Whereas that'll be a feature. It'll hold fish. The pike will sit there. When those weeds aren't there, that water will carry different scents. It'll carry different food particles, different things. So it'll keep the fodder fish there, and the pike will be there with the fodder fish. And I am getting lit up like a fucking balloon with these lights. You can only do best of what you have. But I'm also going to be donating Mr. Hitch's clothing. His winter suit. He got 2 winter suits from ProLogic. Waterproof and thermal. And if they've been worn 6 to 8 times, they're lucky, So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get them dry cleaned, and I'm going to... I'm not going to sell them. I'm going to give them away to a youngster that's starting off, or somebody that. So if you know somebody that could do with a winter suit, then give me a shout. It's not going to fit me. It's never going to fit me. So I will give it to somebody that'll get the better use of it. It's going to be weird fishing for pike this winter and not having Dwayne here. That, I'm not going to lie to you, that kind of messes with me. I do miss the little fucker. But there's not much I can do about that. Wherever he is, I hope he's at peace. And I hope he's looking down and maybe helps me out catch a few big fish this winter. That'd be nice. Apart from that, the van is loaded. Tomorrow is the first day's pike fishing. It's just going to be a deadbait session. I'm going to go somewhere handy, somewhere easy, because the van's a mess. The gear was literally just chucked in the van. So I have to organise the van. I tend to have the lure fishing gear by the side door, so that when I'm doing mobile fishing, I can get in and out of the side door, as opposed to opening up the back doors. The back doors tends to have the barrow, the cart porter barrow, so that if I'm having to go across the ground, the barrow takes the weight. The barrow's great because you just load the barrow up and you push it. You don't have to wreck your back or annoy yourself. But the barrow makes life so much easier. Also looking for there was a battery pack for the barrow. Some guy on YouTube and Facebook was kind of sharing those there. And I think they're like 300 quid for the barrow that I have, which makes it, you know, an automatic barrow that you just kind of press a button and the batteries pull it on. And that would make my job even easier, you know. I could maybe even get a bit further away from the van. You know, for those of you that don't know, I am kind of, you know, I've got destroyed vertebrae in my back. It is what it is. Can't change it. But it does limit what I do, so I don't like that. So if I could get something that helps me get fishing further afield, then I will take that. The ultimate thing would be the boat. Boat's still not even touched since it's in the first video. What happened this summer? Well, I've been kind of like doing the dad thing, sorting out a house. The price of lumber went through the roof, I'll be honest with you. So I did like a couple of sheets of half-inch marine ply, and then I'm going to have to fiberglass the boat. I would love to have I will get stuck into it, but at the minute I'm kind of trying to get other things done. You know, I need a new kitchen, a new bathroom, need new double glazing windows in the house. If I say to Mrs. Scobie, I'm going to fucking spend $1,000 on refurbing a boat in the trailer and then possibly $2,000 on a fish finder, I'm liable to get stabbed in my sleep. So, that's just an update. I'm looking forward to the pike fishing, so let's get stuck into that, and I will see you on the bank. Fingers crossed tomorrow. Tight lines, guys.